Hello, and welcome back to another episode of my Aston Martin driver career mode. Now, guys, I'm going to apologise. This video is late out by about 6 hours at the time that it's probably going to be uploaded, and I'm going to apologise for that. Trying to keep to a schedule helps me a lot, but for now, into qualifying lap 1, we are going to come across the line to set a 1:18 free, which is going to be 1 second off the AlphaTauri of Gazzy, which is going to leave us in P19. Coming up to start lap 2, we made a few setup changes, specifically to the front anti-roll bar stim. Let's try and get a bit sharper turning, because I felt the car was a bit on edge. Well, not on edge around the corners, but a bit understeery, and then a bit oversteery out of the corners. It's actually a problem I'm having a lot on this game. The car felt really understeery, and I'm on max wings, so I don't know what I can really do to solve that. But now, coming across the line, we're going to improve by around 6 tenths, which is going to put us in P18 with a 1:17.6. But sadly, going into qualifying and into the main race, we are going to be starting P19, as, yeah, the other drivers, well, I think it's only Mick Schumacher who was behind us, who was on maybe rather in the Haas. But now I'm going to be talking about the starting grid, because I forgot to record the audio. Smooth operator Carlos Sainz is going to start on pole with Lando Norris alongside him in McLaren, with Verstappen and Leclerc holding out the second row. Perez and Alonso start the third row, with Russell and Ricciardo in the fourth. Bottas and Hamilton, the old Mercedes teammates, hold out the fifth, with an all-Haas sixth row. Zhou and Tsunoda, an Asian 12th row, not 12th row, I can't speak. Two Frenchmen side by side, Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon, with Albon and Vettel on the penultimate row, and ourselves and Latifi bringing up the rear of the grid. As this should be a good race, hopefully for us. Hungary is one of my better tracks, but as I said in qualifying, I wasn't really that happy with the car. So we're going to see how this goes. Hopefully we can get a good start, make up some places, as we are a bit out of place in the formation lap. So once again, we do our favourite thing of going on the grass when we don't mean to. Which, yeah, that is becoming a habit for me, as coming into the final few corners here, you can see we started getting the line kind of thing. As we look at our tyres, and they're actually pretty cold, so we're going to have to do a bit of a emergency heating to the tyres. As going across the grass probably did cool them down a bit and make them lose a bit of grip, but we're not going to be starting with the best tyre temps on the grid. Our teammates in the row ahead of us, we have Nicholas Latifi alongside us, as we're going to go to 5 red lights, and we go green in Hungary for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Pretty decent start for us, actually, in this career mode so far. We're looking to go up the middle of our teammate and Alex Albon and the Williams, so we make a very opportunistic move up the inside of 3 or 4 cars into turn 1. We're up into P14. Esteban Ocon is going to get us back, though. Can we switch sides? We're going up his inside, side by side with Esteban Ocon through the second hairpin, as he's still side by side with us. We're going to try and squeeze him out a little bit, just staying on track there, as we are ahead and into P14 in this race. Mick Schumacher ahead of us. We are being very optimistic and looking forward to being on the back of Mick Schumacher, and then hopefully going for a very cheeky dive up his inside into the chicane. And we're going to go up into P13 at the start of this race. Slow cars ahead of us. I'm going to assume the person who's leading this trail has wing damage, which I believe might be the McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo, because I think Lando Norris is the one that's up ahead, as he's lost pace on the start. There's a Ferrari in the lead. I'm going to assume that is Carlos Sainz, as now we are on the back of Zhou Guanyu, seeing if we can get past seeing if we can get past him. Then looking to Kevin Magnussen, who is driving a Haas on soft tyres, so he's going to pit before everyone else, maybe try and get the undercut, as Kevin Magnussen's teammate Mick Schumacher is now looking to make a move up our inside at the start of lap 2. We're going to give him lots of space. We don't want to crash with him. Sorry again. As floor damage would be completely just horrible in this race. As I said before, cars feeling really understeery. really destroying the front tyres in this car. We have a bit of a moment coming through that corner there, but we managed to keep it. So we're still relatively close to Shogun News. We run wide out of the fast left-hander as he has a bit of a moment on the exit, sliding a bit there. We've got to keep up with him. Chicane, this is where we're losing a lot of time now. To update you on the top 10 of this race, we have Carlos Sainz, who's maintained the lead. Verstappen up into P2. Lando Norris has lost the place into third. Sergio Perez in fourth, with Charles Leclerc in fifth. George Russell and Fernando Alonso sixth and seventh. Daniel Ricciardo in 8th, Lewis Hamilton in 9th, and Valtteri Bottas in 10th. As hopefully we are going to be trying to fight to be in those top 10 positions, but at the moment we've got to focus on getting past the Alfa Romeo of Zhou Guanyu ahead of us. As DRS is now activated, we have it on the car in front as we're almost breaking DRS to the car behind. As we just got to basically just stay with him. We'll probably make up a place on Kevin Magnussen from him having to pit. And then our only focus is really Mick Schumacher, keeping those Hasses behind, as they're our main rivals in the Constructors' Championship. And at this point, I'm thinking that I might be able to score points with maybe like a safety car. But you can see there's definitely something wrong with, I think it's the McLaren ahead of Kevin Magnussen. Actually, no, it's Alfa Romeo, who is actually quite slow in those races. There's a bit of a gap pulling from the rest of the top 10. So we might be able to get 1 point, but I'm not looking too optimistic at getting any points more. And saying that, P10 is very optimistic in itself, as we are hanging a bit back, just barely holding on to Zhou Guanyu, trying to keep that 5 tenths to him. But, I mean, we still could try and make up some positions. As I said, with a safety car, that would help us a lot. As now on to lap 6. Mick Schumacher has caught up a lot as he's going to go for a dive up our inside. We're going to cover that off. Stay ahead of the Haas for now, as Zhou Guanyu has dropped back a lot from Kevin Magnussen. He does not have DRS, so hopefully with a bit of ERS usage and a bit of DRS, we might be able to get past him on this straight. There you can see no gap opening in the rear wing for Zhou Guanyu. We're going to dive into a slipstream, dive out, try and get round the outside into turn. We'll have the DRS on the run down to turn 2. He gets a bit of a better exit. We've got DRS. Can we go for the move up his inside, similar to Esteban Ocon for lap 1? We're up the inside. We outbrake ourselves a bit. We are going to keep the position though, and we're up into P12 as we have a moment coming off the fast corners. Mick Schumacher is going to get ahead of us, and that is not good for our Constructors' Championship or our drivers. As now we've basically just gained a place to lose a place. As Hungary, I feel, is very much, I want to call it a karting style track. You got to be ruthless. You got to attack, or you're going to be attacked. As we've lost DRS to Mick Schumacher already, that Haas is clearly a lot faster in this stage of the race, as we are suffering a lot from just understeering, getting the car to turn. As I said, we're really struggling with that, as we are actually slowly gaining to Mick Schumacher, but it's through the middle sector too, the tight, twisty section, where we're really losing time with this understeer. And the hairpin, the 4th gear hairpin, is just not our friend. This one coming up, we're really struggling to get the car turned in here, as you can see. As Esteban Ocon in the Alpine still behind us. Is he going to try and go for a move into the chicane? No, he's not as bold as we were on lap 1. As we have a tiny moment coming out the corner. Is that going to set him up for a little bit of maybe an overtake? As he is 7 tenths behind. We have a pretty decent gap behind him. So if we fall behind him, I don't really care. He has a lot better car than us. As we have a massive moment there, me just soaring away at the steering wheel, just trying to keep the car going straight. Probably didn't need to exaggerate it that much, but as you can see, being plagued with understeer once again. It's either understeer or we go really, really slowly through the corners, and it's just losing us a lot of time. Now, on to lap 11. We've had cars pitting around us, and lap 12... we now have Yuki Tsunoda who's caught up to us. Esteban Ocon's 4 seconds ahead of us. As I said, we just, I don't want to call it randomly, but we just really started to get these horrendous bouts of understeer all of a sudden we've got like no damage to the car. I think it's just like maybe even the tyres wearing out, just maybe a bit of unbalance in the car, a bit too much rear end, not being able to get the rotation. As you can see, Perez and Tsunoda fighting behind us. Perez pitting early as he's going to go down our inside. He's going to hit us. He's going to hit us. He's going to lose a bit of his front wing, which kind of serves him right. We got no warning from the FIA for contact, so that's not really our fault in that instance. You can see, struggling to get the car turned in. We almost spin it on Perez as he completely shuts the door on us. Tsunoda then goes for a move, as we've now got floor damage, which isn't going to help with our understeer at all. As you can see, Perez really struggling without that rear wing. We've still got unrepairable damage, so we need to get past him, as he's going to be slow. Hopefully we can get past him. He isn't a Red Bull though. But yeah, he's just hit the side of us, which I'm not too accustomed to. Definitely hasn't happened many times in this career mode. As we have a bit of a moment now. Car's starting to feel really unstable now with that damage. And you can see Perez slow. We're going to deploy ERS. We need to get past him, as he's just going to be so slow through these next few sections. Go up the inside of the Red Bull, and that is that move boarded in, as I assume he's going to pit now with that wing damage. You can see he's a lot slower. Yeah, so yeah, there he goes into the pit. Tsunoda about a second behind us, but I believe he gets DRS from Perez, and he's actually passed us on lap 15. Didn't quite show you that there, as we now have Vettel, our teammate, right behind us. We're really struggling with the car here, fighting it through every corner, as now Vettel's ahead of us now. See if we can get through, as we're being told to pit for hards by our engineer. Vettel ahead of us, Tsunoda just ahead of him. We let Vettel through a few laps ago to try and get DRS, to try and recover some battery. As now we're being attacked by the Haas of Kevin Magnussen, who's already stopped in this race. We haven't stopped in this race, as that's not looking too good. Another car's going to hit us on the inside of turn 1. What are these AI doing? They're just giving us more and more floor damage, just making my race worse and worse. There's yellow flags ahead of us, and our teammate's race is going to get worse as he has an engine failure. And this just isn't a really good day for Aston Martin. We've got a severely damaged floor on one car and a very severely damaged engine on another. That's just not gonna go down well. But for now, we got to focus on the race. We're still driving. We've got Magnussen behind us. We need to try and keep him behind us. I believe he has a bit of a mistake coming out of that corner there, which allows us to have a bit of breathing room. He's fighting with Latifi. Actually, no, I think Latifi's fighting with Bottas, actually. As you can see, yellow flags there in Sector 2. Not quite going to be a safety car, as we are now going to come into the box. Really actually struggling to even get the car into the pits, as we're going to fit the hard compound tyre, which really was not looking forward to, as that means that, as we run over an AlphaTauri mechanic, he's not really going to mind. But as I said, hard tyres, really hard to warm up, really ungrippy, and with that floor damage, we are not going to have much responsiveness in this car, and that is just not what I want at this point in time. As you can see, coming out of the pits, we just cannot get the car turned, trying to get through there, as I do realise why it's done that. My wheel, for some reason, glitches out and goes to like 50% sensitivity, so we're going to fix that. Just double the whatever the sensitivity settings called in the wheel, and that fixes it. If you have the problems on a Logitech G920, it's very annoying, but it is quite a simple fix. A bit janky with the wheel, but it's not that bad. As we now have the Williams of Nicholas Latifi, as Carlos Sainz is out of the session. Not good for the Spaniard in the Ferrari. He was leading this race for most of the way, which is kind of sad for the Ferrari. He probably could have won this race, as I believe he's had 2 wins this season, so a third would probably really boost his championship. So I believe he's quite far down. He's behind both Mercedes and I think one of the Red Bulls in the championship, which isn't good. As now, let's have a look on board with Carlos Sainz here. He's in P2. Max Verstappen's about a second and a half ahead of him, so maybe he wouldn't have won this race. through turn 1. Let's see. I don't think any incidents. I'm going to assume an engine failure. And yes, it's an engine failure coming out of turn 1. As Lando Norris now goes to P2. An amazing showing for the McLaren team as they're in P2 and P8 respectively with Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. As that is a big shame for Carlos Sainz. Now, back to our view. We've got Gasly ahead of us. He's just come into the pits. We're in P16. We got the Williams and Nicholas Latifi with DRS pressuring us from behind. So we're going to turn off the overtake button, turn it back on again, try and keep with him. But we just kind of want to sit behind him for a bit, try and recharge our battery. We're hoping he's going to be able to drag us along with that tiny bit of DRS at the end of, well, start of the lap, which hopefully will keep us ahead of his teammate Alex Albon and not allow us to fall into dead last of the still remaining runners. But it is Alex Albon. We know he's fast. And right now, this Williams car is about equal to the Aston Martin car. So it's mainly driver here. But we have major floor damage. So yeah, I'm not really looking too hopeful in this race. I'm sure the Williams are looking slightly better than me. I'd much rather be in Latifi's car than mine. As now on to lap 21. We're going to have a little look up the inside. Not really recharging much ERS behind Latifi. And I believe he was trying to back us off into his teammate Alex Albon, as we have lost about a second to him. But I don't really mind at this point. I know we're not getting points in this race. I just want to have the glory of finishing ahead of the Williams, who are really equal cars to us, but are nowhere near us in the championship. I don't think they've even scored a point yet. As round coming into the final quarter, Latifi gets up our inside. Bit of wheel banging between us, as we're both trying to have this position. This is all just letting Alex Albon catch up. As Kevin Magnussen comes in for his second stop of this race. And now he's scoring points in that Haas, as we just hoped that we could keep in DRS of him. We never were in DRS of him, but he doesn't really pull away on those fresh mediums. So I'm kind of hopeful that we might be able to get DRS. We completely outbrake ourselves, still suffering from this just immense understeer that's just been plaguing us all race. It plagued us in where did it hit us before? I think it was Canada was straight line speed. I can't remember where we had like massive understeer. In Azerbaijan, the car was really like unstable back end, really easily like to step out, which meant we just had no traction because the rear tires were completely dead by the time you got anywhere in the race. I think Hungary might be the only time we've actually had understeer problems. We had a lot of oversteer problems, as this is just the complete opposite. Was we have a massive moment and Latifi's ahead of us. His teammate Alex Albon's looking for a move, but now we're going to get DRS on Latifi. Can we kind of attack to defend here, try and get past the Williams to stay ahead of the other Williams, as this is not the fights we want to be taking. So we actually break quite early there. Don't want to go into the back of Latifi, as I'm sure he's trying to get Albon past us so he doesn't have to defend as much. As we have a massive snap coming out of the first turn there, as we actually have a little bit of Alex Albon up our inside, which we hastily dealt with. As now Nicholas Latifi gets to pull away a bit, but we are going to keep with him. We are still in, I say they're equal cars, but I think I'm definitely a better driver than Latifi. He actually pulled DRS on us. Car really not feeling nice at this point with the, the understeer and the floor damage. Have a bit of wheel bang with Alex Albon. Nothing really comes of it, just hard racing, fun racing, bit of contact. As you can see, the only people behind us now are two DNS, so our focus is full on attack on Alex Albon, which hopefully we're going to be able to deliver in this race. But with this floor damage, we might not be able to fully capitalize on the position that we're in. I mean, we're in P18. There's not really much to capitalize in. I mean, we still technically made up a place from the start. We have another massive moment coming out of the hairpin. As just on this track, it's so much just entry understeer, which just is snapping to massive like exit oversteer, and it's getting Actually, kind of annoying at this point that there is just so much of this problem. As I get it on a lot of other circuits as well, slow speed circuits, there's so much like entry understeer to exit oversteer. It just gets annoying at times. But now onto lap 28, starting lap 29, we're going to have DRS again on Alex Albon. But he is, I believe, just out of DRS range of Latifi. So we should be able to make up some time here. But he's probably deploying battery, so he wants to catch up to Latifi. We didn't deploy much battery as we don't really have any left, as we're still trying to catch up. Once again, another snap on exit there. Our rear tires are not enjoying this. We just have the weirdest car. It's either understeery or oversteery. The Williams ahead of us are fighting, banging into each other. Hopefully, they might break their front wings. They've got to be careful about that, as otherwise, Jos Capito, soon to be replaced by James Vowles, won't be very happy. As the two Williams are still scrapping. This is an amazing scrap from the Williams, as Latifi is going to stay ahead. But now we got to just capitalize on their fighting, try and get back ahead of them. And you see the leaders are actually starting to catch up to us, as we have a massive spin on that fast right-hander there. Full throttle, just couldn't keep the rears. We tried to get off the track, do a bit of a flick spin there. And at this point, we're not really going to make up any places. We have another spin from the hot tires, get rear wing damage. And at this point, it's similar to Monaco. We may as well take the about probably 5% less engine wear. And we're going to retire the car, as I don't see any point in going to the end, wasting the engine, as our AI is actually going to bring us back onto track. But Max Verstappen is going to win this race with George Russell in P3. And I can just I'm trying to confirm what car's alongside him. It's Lando Norris in the McLaren that is going to get P2. Amazing race from the young British driver here in the McLaren. I believe is it his first or second podium of the season? I'm not sure. I know his teammates got a podium. He's got a podium here, but I'm not sure whether he has any others. But once again, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Sorry for the kind of lack of audio in the background. I figured it out. For some reason, there was just a massive negative gain on my OBS. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it's there. But that is now sorted. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you have. And I guess I will see you guys out. See you guys next time for what I believe is the Belgian Grand Prix, which is going to be coming out in 2 days' time at 4 o'clock today. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.